Finally, the Thursday, July 10, 2025, recap of The Bold and the Beautiful is available. Penelope Poppy Nozawa, played by Romy Park, reacts strangely to the murder of her daughter in today's episode. In the meantime, Kimberlyn Brown's character Sheila Carter-Sharp finds out that she has lost another toe. Luna Nozawa codes Lisa Yamada's character Luna Nozawa, continues to code in the surgery room. As Lee Finnegan, Naomi Matsuda, restarts Luna's heart with the paddles, she shouts out Nozawa power. It functions. Although stable, the patient's road to recovery is lengthy. Although Bridget points out that Lee saved Luna's life, she is unable to spare her from a life sentence behind bars. Lee requests to be left alone with Luna and offers to take things one step at a time. Be sure to check out our B&B spoilers for next week here. Lee is by herself with the patient as Bridget departs the operating room. Lee tells Luna she didn't deserve this in a calm, quiet voice. Lee seems likely to carry off another dead body scam. Liam Spencer's fate over John Finnegan, Tanner Novlin, is still operating following Liam Spencer's, Scott Clifton, operation. Jacqueline McInnes Wood's character Steffi Forrester Finnegan meets Hope Logan, Annika Noel, and Carter Walton Lawrence St. Victor, in the hallway. Steffi provides an update, stating that Liam fulfilled his commitment to protect her. See what transpired in the most recent episode of B&B by reading this. The three of them go to observe the remainder of the surgery. Liam is saved, but he goes into shock. The wonderful doctor is informed by a nurse that he saved Liam's life. Finn informs everyone how well they performed. Finn closes Liam and then goes to welcome Carter, Steffi, and Hope. He is currently alive, but the doctor thinks the next several days are crucial. They enter Liam's medical room. As Steffi holds Hope, she sobs. Hope begs her child's father to wake up and be all right. Finn cautions that this was a challenging situation even without the brain tumor. Once more, Liam feels grateful for his life. Check out this. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers. The end of an era. Ashley Jones says goodbye. Poppy Nozawa's strange reaction when Steffi raves about Luna. Poppy shows up to the hospital. According to Lee, they did their best, but Luna passed away while recovering. Poppy expresses her gratitude for her daughter's passing. Everyone is appalled. Deacon Sharp's visit following surgery, Sheila Carter-Sharp, Kimberlyn Brown, awakens. She asks for an update on Luna and Liam. But as of yet, Grace Buckingham, played by Cassie Creech, has not received any updates. Sean Cannon's character Deacon Sharp shows up. Sheila has a numb foot. Sheila is informed by Deacon that she no longer has 9 toes, but rather has 8. He doesn't mention Luna, but he claims to be praying for Liam. Post your ideas in the space provided for comments below. To find out what happens next, keep watching the soap opera on CBS or Paramount+. Make sure to read up on all that's going on with B&B at the moment. About news, updates, and spoilers about The Bold and the Beautiful return frequently. According to Thursday, July 10 spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful B&B, Lee Finnegan Naomi Matsuda will be devastated by her sister's aloof reaction when Poppy Nozawa, Romy Park, insists she's happy Luna Nozawa, Lisa Yamada, is dead. Lee will deliver what she expects to be distressing news at the hospital. Poppy will be updated on Luna's failure to survive her stay in the operating room, and will learn about the trauma of the shooting. Lee's admission that Luna didn't make it causes Poppy to become completely emotionless. Lee will imply that Poppy is in shock, and not fully comprehending when she expresses her happiness at Luna's death. Poppy will then claim that she fully understands. Poppy will shock everyone in the waiting area by reiterating her statement and saying that she's delighted her daughter is dead. Naturally, Poppy's response might provide Lee with more evidence that Luna's mother was the constant issue. Given Poppy's lack of concern for Luna, Lee might conclude that she was correct to hold her sister accountable for Luna's transformation into a monster. Regarding Luna's actual destiny, she won't be permanently gone. Although it's unclear exactly how Luna will figure into the plot moving forward, it has already been revealed that she will continue to feature in September episodes. Luna might become a ghost, but it's also possible that this death won't last. If Luna finds some covert assistance to stay alive under the radar, she might cheat death like Tanner Novlin's character John Finnegan did. We know Luna will have more B&B airtime in the future, so a soap opera resurrection is definitely a possibility, regardless of whether Lee or someone else provides that assistance. When Hope Logan, Annika Noel, and Carter Walton Lawrence St. Victor, get to the hospital. Liam Spencer Scott Clifton will still be undergoing surgery. When Steffi Forrester Jacqueline McInnes Wood explains that Finn is working on Liam, Hope will become distraught and insist that he must save their daughter's father. Fortunately, Liam will survive his surgery, although he will spend some time in a coma. Bill Spencer, Don Diamant, who will eventually visit the hospital, will learn of Liam's gunshot wound and the ostensibly incurable brain tumor. According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Bill will be overwhelmed by all the heartbreaking details, so pay attention. Grace was nursing to Sheila's foot while she lay in a hospital bed. Grace reported that her procedure went smoothly as she started to wake up. Sheila inquired, "My granddaughter Luna, is she okay?" Grace informed Sheila that Deacon was en route because she was more worried about her well-being. Sheila inquired about Luna and Liam once again, but Grace was unable to provide an update on their condition. "I'm praying that they're both going to be all right," Sheila replied. Deacon soon showed up and embraced Sheila. "I can't believe your own granddaughter shot you," Deacon responded. "She didn't mean to, Deacon. It was an accident. She was just trying to get Steffi's attention. She wants a life with her father," Sheila continued. "I didn't want to see anyone get hurt, so I tried to take the gun from Luna. Somehow in the struggle it went off and here I am," Sheila continued. Deacon wishes he could be there to keep her safe. Deacon stated that since Liam was the father of his grandchild, he was in his prayers. "Right now I'm just glad that you're okay, 'cause I can't imagine my life without you," Deacon continued. Sheila also had some news from Deacon. Sheila believed he was kidding, but was startled to hear that it was true. She had to have one of her toes amputated, so now she was Sheila 8 toes instead of 9 toes. Sheila giggled as Deacon asked, "What's another toe?" When Luna started to bleed out, Lee panicked out. While Bridget went to work, she continued to call her niece's name. Bridget claimed they were losing Luna, but Lee performed compressions as she flatlined. As Steffi watched from a window, Finn tried his best to remove the bullet from Liam's chest in another operating room, but Liam's pressure also decreased. Lee pulled out the paddles and attempted to shock Luna back to life while saying Nozawa power. Luna's heart then began to beat again. When Steffi saw a distraught Hope arriving with Carter, she told her what was happening. "Finn has to save him. He has to. That's our daughter's dad in there," said Hope. The fact that Luna had shot her own grandma astounded Carter. Sheila dove in. They struggled for the gun, and Sheila ended up getting shot in the foot, Steffi recalled. "I'm alive because of Liam. He saved me. Remember, he said he was always going to protect us, Hope?" "He did," she continued. "Liam shot Luna," exclaimed Hope. "Yes, he used every bit of strength he had. He saved me. He saved us from Luna," responded Steffi. Finn struggled to stop Liam's bleeding back in the operating room, but he eventually took the bullet out of Liam at the same moment as Lee took the bullet out of Luna. When they reached the observation window, Hope and Steffi said a prayer for Liam. Fortunately, the procedure went well. Finn looked at Steffi and assured her that Liam was all right. Although Liam survived, Finn informed Steffi, Hope and Carter that the situation was dire. Another problem was the tumor. When Hope, Steffi, and Finn paid Liam a visit while he was recuperating, Finn was forthright. "Not even counting the brain tumor, Liam is still very much battling for his life," Finn stated. Hope went up to a sedated Liam and assured him that Steffi, Finn, and she were there to support him. "It's going to be okay. Promise. Remember how you were saying earlier that you were going to fight to be there for our girls, for your daughters. So I am going to hold you to that," Hope responded. Bridget and Lee were glad that Luna was still alive in the operating room, but Lee was alarmed to learn that the police were outside, prepared to take Luna into custody on charges of kidnapping and attempted murder. "We may have given her a second chance at life, but nobody can stop her from a lifetime in prison," remarked Bridget. "The words 1 step at a time," said Lee. Bridget concurred that there might be issues. Lee remarked menacingly, "Yes, we'll be keeping a close eye on her." Lee and Luna were left alone by Bridget. "Luna didn't deserve any of this," Lee sighed. After leaving Liam's room, Steffi, Hope, and Finn located Poppy. She got a hard line from Steffi, who told her what Luna had done. After fixing the wound and sending Luna to recovery, Lee seemed to inform Lee that Luna had flatlined. Lee sobbed at that point and informed her that although they had done everything they could, Luna had passed away during the healing process. Poppy's world had been one of deceit, survival strategies and manipulation, but no one had anticipated that her death would be met with such a perverse sense of fulfillment. While Finn and Steffi were in shock, Poppy could only remark, "Good. I'm glad Luna's dead." Her passing sent shockwaves across the canvas of lives bound together by weird allegiances, treachery, and tragedy. Although her death was officially tragic, those she had harmed, particularly those who had suffered through her schemes with little to no redress, celebrated her death with a peculiar delight. When Lee learned of her half-sister's passing, she felt almost guilty relief rather than sadness. Poppy had caused havoc in Lee's world, something she had long disliked, particularly when it came to Luna. There was a gloomy calm now that quiet had descended upon her presence after Poppy's interference had caused rifts too deep to heal. But the consequences of her absence were far from over. Luna was broken, torn between guilt and grief. Although she had become accustomed to her mother's complex love, which might be smothering at times or protective at others, she could never have envisioned her existence without it. Luna had held on to the hope of redemption, the conviction that they would eventually find healing, in spite of the damage Poppy had caused. That day would never arrive. RJ, who remained silent but provided a supportive shoulder, comforted her as her cries reverberated around the hospital hallway where she was given the news. In his own quiet way, he knew what it was like to lose a parent without finding closure. Although she would have to deal with Poppy's legacy on her own, his encouragement prevented Luna from completely imploding. She was now left to solve the riddle of lies, lovers, and unsolved mysteries that made up that inheritance by herself. Sheila's nightmare, meantime, had intensified to a gory climax. She had been badly hurt in the aftermath of her altercation with Steffi and Finn, and one of her legs was irreparably damaged. Amputation was the decision the doctors made that she would never have accepted on her own. It was nearly intolerable to see the horror in her eyes as she woke up and realized what had been done. Sheila, however, wasn't just any lady. She was a survivor who had a track record of overcoming adversity. Something evil flickered behind her eyelids as she lay in her hospital bed, looking down at the empty space where her leg had been. Sure, rage, but something more perilous, intention. Finn watched through the window from a distance. Even though he hadn't gone to her bedside, the guilt nevertheless seeped into his bones. She was his biological mother in spite of everything she had done, and the suffering she was going through set up a complex internal struggle. Meanwhile, Steffi made it plain that she would not put up with any kind of pity for Sheila. She believed that this was karmic justice, and that losing a limb was the best punishment if not death or prison. For years Sheila had plagued them. Allow her to suffer. Few others realized, though, how Sheila's suffering was changing her. She was turning her attention to psychological warfare, because she was no longer able to physically frighten or dominate. She started making plans while she was in the hospital, promising in silence to come back, possibly not physically, but by persuasion, deceit, and manipulation. She had time, and she knew how to break down emotional barriers, even if her kid wasn't ready to forgive her. Liam's fortunes had taken an unexpected turn on another front. Once a self-assured, albeit emotionally torn hero, the man was now falling apart. He had gone down a dark path because of his compulsive concern for Steffi, and it had now caught up with him. Too many had been uneasy with his persistent meddling in her life, especially with reference to her marriage to Finn. Ridge had finally had enough of what was not only mistaken caring but also harassment. Earlier that week, Ridge and Liam had gotten into a heated argument that concluded with stern words and a clear warning: leave or be forced to. However, Liam ignored the message because he was obstinate and motivated by a distorted sense of righteousness. He begged Steffi to believe that Finn was untrustworthy by showing up at the Cliff house without an invitation. The manipulation of emotions didn't land as well as it used to. Now that she was stronger and more committed to keeping her family safe, Steffi made it plain that Liam was no longer welcome in her life or in her house. Liam was devastated by the harsh rejection. He ultimately found his way to Bill's office after wandering the city in a trance. Bill told his son bluntly that his refusal to let go was costing him everything because he had little more tolerance for his son's decline. Though painful, the statement sowed the first seeds of introspection in Liam's thoughts. Was he really going too far? Was he losing his dignity, his future, and his chance at real peace because of his obsession with Steffi? Hope's visit, always the voice of harsh truth, was the pivotal moment. She did not chastise him. She didn't even express sympathy. She only informed him that the man in front of her was no longer someone she recognized. Stability, trust, and boundaries were important to the Liam she previously loved. This Liam was unfamiliar. He was frantic, erratic, and careless. She was finished waiting for the previous iteration to come back. Liam paid attention. He didn't protest or plead. A crack opened inside him. After Hope departed, he sat silently for a while, gazing at the picture of Beth on his desk. Did he wish to set an example for his daughter like this? Was all he had left of him self-obsession? He booked himself into a wellness center outside of the city that evening. No family, no press. Just a place to help individuals cleanse their minds, spirits, and emotions. It was the first decision he had made that wasn't related to Steffi in months. It has to do with him. And that might have been the first significant step toward recovery. Los Angeles was still in shock at the end of the day. Poppy's untimely passing created a void that left more questions than answers. Sheila's amputation served as both a triumph and a reminder to never underestimate her. Even though it was hard to witness, Liam's fall could ultimately result in salvation. However, calm is never lasting in a community where love is always entangled in deceit and secrets are valued as money. Everyone was waiting to see what would happen next.